Hello everyone. I thought I would give you a lecture on John Stuart Mill, the social philosophy portion of the chapter. And I missed our classes, and you've been doing well in the meantime. You did in the political philosophy portion of the chapter, Hobbes, Plato, Locke, and Hobbes and Locke are social contract theorists. Socrates in his own way is a social contract theorist too, but Plato is really an aristocrat when it comes to politics, that the best and brightest should rule. Philosopher kings. Wouldn't mind having a philosopher king right about now. But in any case, or philosopher queen, because Plato is open to that idea. But then you get to, he says political philosophy, the author does, is about deciding on which is the best form of government. And Locke, Hobbes, and Plato would have different views on that. Hobbes, for example, with his idea of people being selfish, is exemplified in a state of nature, where life is nasty, brutish, and short. He says we'll need a strong sovereign to keep them in check, and that's why he argues for that kind of autocracy, or in a new kind of government after we emerge from the state of nature. The social philosophy portion of the chapter, he says, is what is just or fair. And I want to just take the on liberty portion. John Stuart Mill, there's a section of his famous essay on liberty on page 366. Mill wrote on liberty in 1859. It's still regarded as the staunchest defense of individual liberty yet written. There's a section of it that starts on 366 there, which is the opening of the essay. The object of this essay is to assert one very simple principle. That principle is that the sole end for which mankind are warranted, individually or collectively, in interfering with the liberty of action of any of their number, is self-protection. So, the only reason that government then, the only justification for government for interfering with our behavior is that is for self-protection. We're about to do harm to someone else. So scholars have called this Mill's harm principle. Mill didn't call it that, but the harm principle. Where does my free speech, the choice of my own lifestyle, and my overall free expression end? It ends when I'm about to do harm to you. Otherwise, I'm allowed to say or write or live the lifestyle I want, insofar as it doesn't harm you. That's very much a libertarian philosophy, especially when he wrote it in 1859. He wrote it with his wife, Harriet Taylor, and she died of tuberculosis before the book's release, and out of respect for her, he did not change or edit the portions that she wrote. And so this is, the harm principle works rather well. So the idea is that there's a public sphere, you'll see this, of behavior with Mill, and the private sphere is this famous distinction that's come down to us. In the public sphere, you can be censored. If you drive drunk down the road, you can get pulled over. Why? Because you're not in the private sphere, you're in the public where you can do harm. You could swerve and hit someone, you could get into a car accident, many possibilities. So when you're in public, your actions are censurable, Mill would say. And even in the privacy of your home, some of your actions will be censurable too. If you're in the privacy of your home and you're hurting someone, abusing them, that will be subject to censure. But in the private sphere, he says, the domain of conscience, where I have my thoughts and whatever opinions I want to adopt, there I'm free. The author then raises some interesting questions about what should be censored and what should not be censored. And should the state interfere? Should there be state paternalism? Should they interfere, and should I be enforced to wear, should I be made to wear a motorcycle helmet when I drive the motorcycle? Or should I, in fact, be able to ride without the helmet? Should I be able to read any kind of book or movie I want to? Well, there are opinions on both sides of that. There have been various commissions that have presidential commissions that have tried to stop pornography. If they can show harm, then Mill would say, well, we'll go with that. That will be something that we want to censure. But unless harm can be shown, I should be allowed free expression in what I read, write, or think about. There was a case the other night on CNN Mark?
You need to hurry this up because the battery's dying. So just
Okay.
get to the point of this video.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg and his wife were on CNN and the other night, and they were talking about someone on Facebook had posted that Clorox, if you drink bleach, you could get rid of the coronavirus. And they decided to pull this down because that kind of expression could do harm. If somebody thinks that there's some science to that, they could take a bleach and harm themselves, even kill themselves. And so not all speech will do. So I think that mill can be used to decide these kinds of cases. There are things that are free that we should protect, and there are things that we should not protect. By the way, the motorcycle riding without the helmet, that does affect more than myself. It's not a victimless crime. If I hit my head and I no longer can be a breadwinner for my family, I've not just harmed myself, I've harmed the rest of them. So what we might think is private is censorable. So that's what I wanted to start you with about Mill. I'm going to send you a link or two as well, one of these BBC links on Mill on this matter. But Mill is the ultimate libertarian on this matter. He makes the staunchest argument for individual liberty to that point in time, and not many arguments for free expression, what we call First Amendment rights, have been made more strongly since. So that's all until next time, and I will see you soon.